Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 5 of Building a Built to Sell brand. So, in this episode, what I'm going to be doing is kind of just going through day by day the meta ads update. And so, this is just going to be an update on the paid ads and just walking through every single day the analytics, the changes I made, because I did actually make some changes and I was actively iterating and actively changing the campaign as the days were going by. So I'm just going to go through, day by day the changes I made and what happened. And then also later in this video, I did actually pause the ads. So later in this video, I'll say like what the future of this brand is going to be, kind of like how I'm going to be marketing it instead now. And if I'll ever, pick up meta ads again for this exact product and for this exact brand. So yeah, guys, it's going to be a pretty good update. I would just like to say really quickly that I did run the ads for a total of 6 days in total, and so they are paused now. So I started them on January 9th, and the last day was January 14th. So that makes a total of 6 days there running the ads. So without further ado, guys, let's go and let's jump into the ad account and let's just see what happened every single day and look through the analytics here. All right, guys, so I'm in the ad account right here. I have it pulled up on my computer and I have it on January 9th. So this is the very first day of running paid ads. And I'm just going to go through all of the notable analytics and all of the important stuff that happened here. So if you guys remember from the first paid ads update here, I was running a CBO with 7 image ads inside of the CBO. It was a 117 method, so 1 campaign, 1 ad set, and 7 image ads underneath the ad set. And what I was doing is I was running the traffic to a quiz funnel. And so instead of just a normal landing page, what I was doing is I was running it to a quiz funnel so that it creates kind of like a micro commitment and like a time commitment in the buyer's mind before they actually get to the landing page, and also kind of helps them solidify the problem in their mind too, and that this is ultimately a solution for them. So I was running 7 image ads here to a quiz funnel. And so let's just go through January 9th here. Basically, I had the budget here at $50 a day. And what Meta did is it actually spent $73. So it went a little bit over budget there. But that is a good sign, because when Meta does that, it kind of means that it really likes the ads and it really thinks that it's going to perform due to the analytics that it was generating here and the data that was going on, because Meta doesn't like to spend when nothing is really happening. So if it did go over budget, which it did, then that means that they really like the ads and they really liked the product, meaning that they can really think that it can actually work here. So ultimately, I spent $73 here on January 9th, resulting in 841 impressions and a CPM of $88. So the CPM was pretty high there, but then ultimately later in the challenge, it ended up getting even higher than this. So this was actually probably one of the best days for CPM, which is pretty crazy. Ads are definitely getting more expensive, and that's why you have to really focus on having a good offer, having high AOV orders, and just having a good product that actually converts on the landing page, and then it'll work for you. But if you don't have that, then you're just going to be burning money with ads. So the CPM was $88. I got 44 link clicks, and CPC, that means that the CPC was around $2. It was like $1.68 here. And then the CTR was 5.23%, which is extremely good. That means that the ads were performing well, and that's why, Meta was spending so much, just because due to the CTR and also the CPC there was pretty good as well. So ultimately, you can't be mad about these results here. But when they got to the landing page, which was the quiz funnel this time, they kind of bounced after the quiz funnel. So I think out of these 44, only like 10 or so, or maybe 15 actually started the quiz, and even less than that actually completed the quiz. So the thing is, when you're running a quiz funnel, you do have to take this into consideration. I knew it would happen before, but with ads this expensive, then you might want to change something, which later on in the ads campaign I actually did. And so we'll get into that in the future days, but it's just something to take into consideration when you're running paid ads to a landing page. You're going to get less if it's a quiz funnel because people are going to bounce. And so I think I had around a 30% completion rate, which, by the way, is actually very good. A 30% completion rate on a quiz funnel is, I think, above industry average, which is extremely good. But I did end up changing that later, and we'll get to that in a future day. So ultimately, that was the day one performance. You can't be mad about it. I didn't get any sales, but that's to be expected because on day one, you're just buying data and you're warming up the pixel here. And if you guys don't know, what a pixel does is it kind of connects all the data back to Facebook about what happened on the website. And so it kind of just brings everything back. It kind of helps optimize the ads and optimize the performance to people who actually resonate with the ads and who complete the quiz funnel and who add to cart and maybe even purchase. So that's ultimately what happens there when you're running paid ads. So yeah, guys, that was day one. And then let's go here really quickly to January 10th. And so this was the second day of running the first CBO to the quiz funnel. And so what happened here is we ended up spending, it looks like only $20 here. So I don't really know why it was so little. I think that was probably because after the $73 spent on the first day, Meta kind of was expecting some sales. So I think they kind of pushed down on the spending there because things ultimately weren't really working out, which it's crazy that they can make that decision in like less than 2 days, which is pretty insane. But let's go through the data here. We had $20 spent here. We had 176 impressions. The CPM went slightly up at $106, and then 5 link clicks with a $4 CPC, less than 3% click-through rate. So ultimately the performance did go down here on the second day. As you can see, we had a less CTR, a higher CPC, definitely less link clicks, and a higher CPM. So the performance wasn't as good here. Now, that was the second day. Let's go to January 11th here, which was the third day. And so this is where I ultimately started making some changes here. So as you guys know, I was running it to a quiz funnel and people were ultimately bouncing. There was a 30% completion rate. So after all of that spend, which was around $95 or so, we had only generated around 15 product page views out of the 50 or so that actually ended up clicking on the ad. So for example, if we didn't have the quiz funnel in place, that would have been 50 views on the product page. But since we did have it in place, that resulted in 15 views on the product page. So ultimately, it did cause way less views here on the product page. And so ultimately what I ended up doing is actually changing the ads and changing the landing page from the product page or from the quiz funnel to the product page. So that's what I went ahead and did here on day 3. I launched a brand new CBO with the top 4 performers of the first CBO, as well as 4 brand new ads that I put in and that I generated with ChatGPT. So that was a total of 8 ads. So I started the new CBO here on day 3. I had it at 4 ads from the first CBO, which were the highest performing ads, and then 4 brand new ads. And instead of directing all of them to a quiz funnel, what I ultimately ended up doing was I had 6 of them going to the product page and 2 of them going to the quiz funnel page. So ultimately, that's 75% of the link clicks that we're going to ultimately go to the product page instead of the quiz funnel page, obviously resulting in more views that on the product page that I can ultimately pay for here with Meta ads. And so that was the change that I did here on day 3. I also restricted the budget of the first campaign down to $10 a day instead. And so in total, what happened here on day 3 is the brand new CBO, which had 6 going to the product page and 2 going to the quiz funnel, ended up spending $74, basically the same amount actually as the first day of the other campaign. And then the first CBO spent $14. And then something very surprising happened. At the very end of day 3 at 10 p.m. at night, we literally got a sale, okay? And I'll throw up a screenshot right here. Not only was it just a sale, she bought the reset bundle, which is the highest AOV offer on the website that I ultimately wanted people to buy. I wanted them to buy the reset bundle there, and she ultimately did, which is actually pretty surprising. I was definitely surprised. Like, obviously I've gotten some sales on my stores before, but especially the fact that this one is a Squarespace website, and especially the fact that, I don't know, I just wasn't really confident in it. But then ultimately things changed around, and we did get the highest AOV sale right there for $55 total, which was very, very surprising. And I was very happy to see that. And it just goes to show that, if you're actively in the ad account and you're actively making changes like I was doing, like as you guys just saw, I literally started a brand new campaign. I fixed the breakage in the ads, which was the quiz funnel not resulting in enough views on the landing page. I fixed the breakage. I added 4 new ads. I took away 3, and it was a total of 8 ads in a brand new CBO that had 75% of the clicks going straight to the landing page. And look at what happened. It literally generated a sale, which is pretty insane. So I was definitely happy to see that, and definitely happy to see that, obviously it does still work here in 2026. So let's get through more of the data here in day 3. I'm just going to go through the brand new CBO's data. So we spent $74. We had 542 impressions. Obviously, the CPM, like I said, the first day was the lowest CPM. So on this day, it was $135, resulting in 16 link clicks with a $5 CPC and a 3% CTR. So the 3% CTR is still good. It's obviously not as good as the 5% of the first day. It's kind of crazy how the performance dropped, but the CTR was still pretty good. The CPC was expensive though at $5 per click, but it ended up getting a sale, which is pretty crazy. And then obviously 16 link clicks, the CPM was definitely high, and the impressions were at 542 after $73 spent. And we got a sale on that day, and that was the 3rd day of running ads. So this was ultimately, a pretty good day. I couldn't be happier with that performance there, and it just shows that the pixel was warming up with good data. It was finding qualified buyers and finding people. And what's surprising is actually I looked at the website sessions of the person who bought, and it took them 3 total sessions to ultimately end up purchasing the product. And so that just shows that, Meta is very good at targeting. It probably showed them 3 different ads, and she probably clicked on 3 different ads of mine, resulting in those 3 sessions. And it was pretty funny to see, because one of them was like the night before, then there was one at like 2 p.m., and then finally at like 10 p.m. she ultimately ended up buying. So that was pretty cool to see right there what it took to get that purchase, and kind of Meta's targeting, and ultimately what it did there to get that sale. So that's definitely really cool. So that's day 3. Let's go to day 4 here, January 12th. I turned off the first campaign, so we were only running the second campaign that had 75% of the link clicks going to the product page, just because it got a sale, and I figured that the pixel was warming up. It was definitely going to find more buyer data here. So we ended up spending $50 here on January 12th. The impressions were 279. CPM was $177, which is super expensive. Link clicks were 4. CPC was $12. That is crazy expensive. And the CTR was only 1.43%. So ultimately, yeah, this data doesn't look that good. CTR is very low, CPC is very high, basically no clicks, and very high CPM. So that was the 4th day there. Let's go to day 5, January 13th. I think we actually got an add to cart on this day, or maybe it was January 12th, which we got another add to cart. But I know that we did get 1 sale and 1 add to cart throughout this entire Meta Ads campaign here. So on January 13th, we spent $52. We got 536 impressions, and the CPM actually dropped all the way down to $97 there, resulting in 19 link clicks, a CPC of $2.73, and a CTR of 3.54%. So the performance did pick up here on day 5, I believe, of running the ads, with obviously, as you can see, a higher click-through rate, a lower lower cost per click, 19 link clicks, and a better CPM there. So then on day 14th, or on January 14th, which is day 6, the performance ended up being $25 spent, 169 impressions, $152 CPM, 4 link clicks, $6 CPC, and 2.37% CTR. So ultimately, I did decide to cut the ad campaign after this day. And so my reasoning behind it was because, we weren't getting any other add to carts. We only had 1, and, the performance was dropping with a higher CPC, lower CTR, and higher CPM, which are ultimately what you don't want to look for. But ultimately, guys, that is the Meta Ads update. I basically ran it for a week. It was 6 days, and we got a sale, which I was very surprised about. And so that was pretty crazy. But what are the plans here for the rest of this brand? Because obviously I turned off the ads. They haven't been running for the past few days. And am I going to start another campaign with this product here? And the answer to that is I am going to launch on TikTok Shop. So there's going to be another episode here. Episode 6 will be me launching on TikTok Shop. And then what I'm going to try to do here is get a few affiliate videos and get a few affiliates converting here on TikTok Shop. And then if I ultimately end up getting some videos here, what my plan is to possibly take the highest converting videos and run them as maybe TikTok ads or maybe even Meta ads here. Because obviously image ads, they can be good, but I don't think their performance is as good as a video ad. And so if I have affiliates holding my exact product here and actually promoting here on TikTok Shop, then ultimately the videos are going to be good to run as Meta ads, and I can just take them and run them as Meta ads instead. And so that's the plan right there. I did launch on TikTok Shop. There's going to be another episode coming out here soon, and we're just going to see the performance here on TikTok Shop, and if anything works, and I might just take those videos and run them as Meta ads. I probably won't run another image ad campaign. It'll probably just be if the video ads start converting on TikTok Shop. But if they don't, then I think I'm probably going to just try to sell the brand here right now. I don't know how much I can get for it, probably not a lot, but I do know that I definitely have enough knowledge and experience to scale up a Shopify store when I get to that point here in February. So I'm very excited to get Shopify back. I know I say it in literally every single episode why I have a Squarespace website and why I want to have Shopify back. And so I might as well here just show you guys the actual difference here in these stores. So let's go ahead and do this really quickly. Let's throw up a screenshot here. This is my Squarespace website, and this is the landing page that I've created, which, by the way, I think is extremely good for a Squarespace website. This is probably one of the best you can get with Squarespace. But then on this side here, let's go ahead and quickly throw up a screenshot of a Shopify landing page and something that you can create with Shopify, so that you guys can kind of see here. You can compare and contrast both of these here. And obviously you can see the Shopify page is way better. If I had a Shopify page here with this Fermel brand, I would probably have a lot more sales, the conversion rate would be better, and the ads would probably be performing better here, and they would start to stabilize here and be more consistent. But because of the lack of conversions here on the Squarespace website, then ultimately the ads are going to be more confused, and Meta isn't ultimately going to be able to target as well as it could and perform as well as it could. So yeah, guys, with that being said, I might just go ahead and, sell this store as it is. We're going to have to wait and see how TikTok ultimately ends up performing here. But if it doesn't, we're definitely going to sell the store and just wait for that capital to be put into a Shopify website here in February. So I'm very excited for that. Anyway, guys, that was episode 5. Thank you for watching the Meta Ads campaign update. I'm very happy that I got that sale. I definitely wasn't expecting that. And so make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for episode 6, because I'm going to be talking about the TikTok shop venture that I have going on here with this brand. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.